Hello and welcome everyone to Clicks and Classics Kathy Rain. We are still here with Charles Wade, and we had a very interesting conversation with him that leads us to a few other places, among others the Mental Institute, where we may find Corky. But also, we have plenty of other places to explore, like, for example, the Church of the Holy Trinity. Before I leave, let's look around here.
A private phone. Wade must get special privileges here.
Private phone, Charles Wade, a
Looks
gramophone.
like Wade brought some of his old tunes with him. Just some boring landscape paintings.
Claude.
That guy is huge. I wonder how many cows he eats per day.
2.5.
I'd rather not. He'd crush me like a twig.
Okay, I don't think we have anything else to do here in the hospital room, at least for now. So... I think we can leave. Okay. Let's exit. Okay. So, we also have the nature reserve, right? And I think Kathy mentioned that we'll be able to visit the Mental Institute once we get back to the city. So I think next, let's go to the church.
Hello, Father.
Greetings, my child. I'm glad you decided to come here.
Yeah, but just so you know, I'm not here to join your church or anything.
Oh, I would never assume that.
Good. So, with that out of the way, I have some questions.
Anything you need. I'm Isaac Price.
Kathy Rain, but I'm guessing you figured that out already.
I did. Rumors spread quickly around here. So how can I be of service?
Interesting, though, the church window in the background. Very similar to what we have here. But let's talk about the talking points.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in 81?
It was the work of the devil, I'll say that much. Joseph was a kind man. He did not deserve such a fate. You heard my speech at the funeral, Kathy. I meant every word. He was a great man who did much good for this community.
Did you know him personally?
In a way. He and my father did charity work together. Joseph was around a lot when I was young. They collaborated on a few different projects for the homeless and for the troubled youth, among other things.
So my grandfather was a member of the church?
I wouldn't say that, no. He was a friend of the church, but he wasn't a religious man. He believed only in philanthropy. That being said, Joseph was the person who convinced me to become a priest.
Really?
Oh yes, I was a teenager back then, full of rebellion. Every fiber of my being wanting to distance myself from my father. Joseph made me realize my sinful pride and showed me how I should follow my heart regardless of what others might think. And for that, I'm eternally grateful.
Interesting. You know anything about Lily Myers?
Does the name Lily Myers mean anything to you?
It does. I was a substitute teacher in her high school for some time before I was ordained.
Really? Did you know her personally?
We weren't close. I only knew her as much as a teacher would know any student.
All right, so how did she seem toward the end?
For one, she started skipping school a lot, and when she did show up, she was absent-minded and moody. She always looked depressed and hunched down like she had a whole world on her shoulders.
Any idea of what caused this change?
Not a clue. All I know is that when she returned from that last summer break, she was a whole different person.
Okay. Anything about Jimmy Cochran?
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
I don't recognize that name, no.
Fair enough. What about Lily Meyer's art?
Do you know anything about an art theft at the Wade estate in the 80s?
I have just a vague memory of reading about it in the paper.
Well, let's talk about the Church of the Holy Trinity.
Care to tell me the history of the church?
I'd be happy to. The story is a fascinating one. This church was founded by my father, William T. Price, in the 70s. Back then, he made his living as a traveling salesman and was driving through this area as he'd done so many times before. However, this day was different. My father held dark thoughts in his mind. He was angry, thinking of evil deeds, even considering swerving off the road into a rock and ending it all. Then suddenly, divine intervention. 3 bright lights appeared. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the sign of God. This epiphany was the moment my father had been waiting for. He sold all of his belongings and took me and my brother to live with him here in Conwell Springs. Soon thereafter, he built this church and started gathering followers. They began to refer to him as Father Bill.
I take it that window up there resembles what he saw when he had this epiphany?
Indeed. The stained glass window depicts the Holy Trinity as witnessed by my father.
Do you know exactly when or where this event took place?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious. It's a captivating story.
Well, it was in the spring of 1971, but my father never told anyone where.
Okay, so what happened then?
People flocked to Father Bill. He started teaching, writing scripture. The church flourished and continued to grow all the way up until his sudden death in 1983. That's when I stepped in to take leadership of the church.
I take it that the church started declining after the death of Father Bill?
Yes, naturally so. With such a magnetic personality, he was irreplaceable. But I assure you the church is still very much thriving.
I was just going to
Looks
say.
kind of empty to me.
Yeah.
It's not really our peak hours.
What's up with you handing out pamphlets at funerals then? Trying to reel people in at a weak moment?
I'm going to assume you meant no disrespect, child. I'm simply providing divine guidance when it's needed the most.
Well, you can see it either way. So, yeah, let's show the picture.
I could, but I think I have more to gain from a subtle strategy.
Fair enough.
I'll keep it to myself for now, until I know more about this church.
Fair enough. What about the flower?
Father, do you know anything about this flower?
No, my child. Nothing at all.
That sounded a little suspicious.
Do you recognize the men in this picture, Isaac?
Only your grandfather, and that's just because I was given a similar picture for the service the other day.
Okay, you know what this
Do you
is
know
for?
what this key opens?
I'm afraid not, my child.
Kind of a shot in the dark, but
That's all I need for now, Father.
with a
May
try.
the Lord shine his light on you.
Can we look around here?
It's an altar. You know, the place where they put the sacrificed goats, kids,
Oh.
and other crap.
That's how altars work, okay?
Impressive window. There's no doubt about it. Those are the smoky lights.
Yeah. Hope you don't mind me going in there.
Locked. Could lead to a sacristy or a closet of some kind.
Let's try the other side.
Locked.
Okay, I guess for now that's it at the church. Let's go to the botany place. Nature reserve. That's what I was looking for. Oh, and there we have.
Well, this is it. This is
Yeah.
where the picture was taken. I'm not sure what I expected to find here. I need to clear my head.
Oh, will we hallucinate now? Are there like, I don't know. Oh, that's the guy we had a
What
dream
the?
of.
We've met before, haven't we?
I don't think so, Mr. Clean. Unless seeing your face on a bottle of detergent counts.
I don't think so, Mr. Clean. Unless seeing your face on a bottle of detergent counts.
Always the joker, aren't you, Kathy?
Who are you? How do you know my name?
You told me, remember?
I feel strange. Am I dreaming?
It's the mending I will try to facilitate.
You're not real. I'm lying asleep in my bed right now.
Focus, Kathy. Listen to the drowned girl.
You mean Lily? What about her?
She's the anomaly, the missing refrain, the convergence point of things past and events yet to happen.
Dial down the metaphors a notch, would you, Mr. Kafka? I get enough of that shit in English class.
I knew you wouldn't disappoint. I'm glad, given how much trouble I went through to be here. You see, my name was taken from me, so I claimed a color in its stead. The next time we meet, you'll know the exact hue of red. You're on the right path, Kathy. Follow your grandfather, and everything will work out in the end.
Wait, what? How did I get here?
You shouldn't be
going
driving
crazy?
under the influence.
Am I turning into Mom?
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, hello, dear.
Interesting. And mysterious.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
And worrying.
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
Okay. Let's go over these.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is? He was a friend of Grandpa's.
I believe he teaches at the flight school these days.
I don't think so, at least not anymore. I was told he was placed in a mental facility.
Really? He always struck me as a kind man. Maybe a bit nervous and on edge, but not crazy.
There's more. I found out that Jimmy asked Grandpa for help not long before Grandpa ended up in that wheelchair. Jimmy sounded really desperate. I'm sure what happened to Grandpa that night had something to do with his cry for help.
You should go find the man then. Surely he must know something.
That's the plan. I just wondered if there's anything else you think I should know about him.
Not really. We haven't stayed in touch since Joseph was injured. I know that he had a wife, Agatha. And a son,
Okay.
James. Agatha passed away from cancer years ago, but as far as I know, James still lives in the city with his family.
Okay, thanks, Grandma.
That's helpful.
I don't see a reason to ask her about that.
Fair enough. I showed her.
Bye, Grandma. I'll be back later.
all of
So
these.
long.
Okay, I guess there's nothing. This is all very mysterious. Anything new upstairs?
An old typewriter covered in cobwebs. Mr. Bear! How? Good
We already
idea.
had that.
You just keep walking.
Okay. Guess not. Can we return to the reserve? Oh, there's a
Hello?
painting now.
Creepy bald guy. Guess no one's home. Looks like a specimen of the red scythe. It's endangered. I'm not gonna take it without a really good reason.
Fair enough.
That wasn't here before. What's this?
Rip drawing. The Rat Man.
A bald man dressed in red. Oh, creepy.
Then it looks like there's a missing half. And in our dream, it was like the red man and like a man dressed in red and black, I think, if I remember correctly.
Why did someone leave this at the nature reserve?
Maybe we have to talk to Lily's mother again. We haven't talked to her since we came back to town. Might be actually a few questions we can ask her. Ah, that music makes me nervous. Feel uneasy. And we also saw in our dream.
Oh, it's you
those
again.
men were
Come on
in this cabin. Oh.
No Nathan today? Hey?
Nah, haven't seen Nate all day. Probably out in the woods.
Huh. Uh-oh. So who is the red man?
Looks like Nathan knows the strange red man. I need to talk to him about this.
Red man.
A bald man dressed in red. Oh, creepy. That must be Lily. She seems very happy looking up at the red man. Is this how Nathan still sees himself? As a little boy?
Huh. Let's talk to Sue.
I had a few more questions, Sue.
Shoot.
I don't need to ask her about that. Did you know that somebody stole Lily's paintings from Wade?
Huh? I knew he got robbed a few years back, but I thought he still had them all.
I don't need to ask her about that.
So what about the red man?
Do you know who the red man is?
Oh, that's just Nate's imaginary friend. The red man has been around ever since my boy was little.
I see. So there's no actual person in town he could be referring to?
No way! According to Nathan, the red man hasn't changed in 30 years.
Yeah, we met
The
him
red
too.
man actually exists. I met him in the forest.
I wonder if it's the
What? That's crazy.
if it's like a
talk. Stop
hallucination
kidding around.
caused by
I am
the
not in the
flower
mood.
somehow. Since he appeared right after we lit our smoke, and we read in the article that the flower has a hallucinogenic effect, but just didn't catch on as a drug because it was too rare. So
Sue, what do you see in this picture?
My God, that looks like one of Lily's paintings.
Wow, really? Can you describe it?
It was a nighttime scene, just like the photo, but the lights were floating above the lake. There was a pale hand reaching up from beneath the surface trying to touch them. The forest in the background was on fire, making the sky purple and red. There were probably other details too, but that's what I can remember.
Sounds captivating. Wish I could have seen it.
yeah. You know anything about the rat's scythe?
Do you know anything about this flower?
Sure, smoked it a few times back in the day, before it was endangered and all.
Yeah? What was it like?
Similar to pot, but stronger and more unpredictable. Never touched this stuff after I got pregnant with Lily.
All right.
Ha ha ha.
Do you know what this key opens?
Well, that's a bit of a weird question, ain't it? But no.
I think we asked her before, but
I think I'm gonna head off now.
Sure thing, little cat. Come back anytime.
so it would be great to talk to Nate, but where is he? This is all getting very complicated. Swim in lake.
Oh, gee, I would, but I forgot my swimsuit at home. That action doesn't seem productive.
Thought maybe like comparing. Or playing with a seagull, Stephen.
Thick, dense forest. What were you doing out there, Grandpa?
Huh. So what to do now? Oh, we also have to talk to the sheriff, I remember. About the theft. So let's do that first, and maybe something will open up then.
Hello, Kathy. What's up?
I have a few more questions.
I don't need to ask him that now.
Or maybe not.
Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
Not really, Kathy. Sorry.
Okay.
Nah, I don't want to ask him about that. Nah, I don't want to.
Fine.
Do you know anything about a weird bald guy dressed in red around here?
You're joking, right?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. Probably not.
I probably shouldn't. Do you know what this is?
I have no idea. Looks creepy, whatever it is. Where did you get it?
Grandpa had it hidden away in the attic.
Probably for a good reason, then. Be careful out there.
Thank you.
Hey, Lenny, do you recognize this flower?
Yeah, I accidentally inhaled pollen from one of them when I was a kid. I remember being sick and delirious for days.
Oh, that's interesting, though.
Scary. Where did you come across this flower?
Somewhere in Conwell Woods. Not sure where exactly.
All right.
That is interesting, though.
Well, gotta go.
The
See ya.
poem. Let's talk to the sheriff.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
I don't need to ask him that now. Do you know who Jimmy Cochran is?
Nope.
Okay.
Do you know anything about the art theft in the Wade estate?
Yes, Mr. Wade phoned ahead about that. Lenny!
Yes, boss.
Get the report from the burglary in the Wade estate back in '86?
On it, boss.
And hurry up.
There you go, Kathy.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, let's have a look at it. So, the alarm on the Wade estate is triggered. The house is empty at the time of the neighbors contact law enforcement. That was at 1:12 a.m. Officers arrive at the scene. Several broken windows can be observed. A sweep of the estate and surrounding premises reveal no traces of the perpetrators. A single witness identified as Franklin Goldfarb reports seeing multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime. Charles Wade arrives in Conwell Springs to make an official statement. After examining the house, he reports that paintings with an excess value of $15,000 have been stolen. The artist in question has not yet popped up in any circles that are known to deal with stolen goods, terminating investigation due to lack of leads. Interesting.
I gotta find this Goldfarb guy. Maybe he knows more about the burglary.
Yeah.
Hey, Lenny.
Hello, Kathy. What's up?
You know anything about Franklin Goldfarb?
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Sounds familiar, but I can't place him.
Well, gotta go.
See ya.
Let's talk to the sheriff.
Hello, Sheriff. Mind if I ask you a few more questions?
If you must.
I don't need to ask.
Just going through
Do
these
you know
things.
anything about a weird bald guy dressed in red around here?
What the hell are you talking about?
Never mind.
With a tribe.
Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Never heard of him. Anything else?
I'll hang on to it for now.
What about the
Do you
plant?
recognize this flower?
Matter of fact, I do. It's a local endangered plant with mild narcotic properties.
Yeah? Have you come across any users in the area?
Sure, but it's a bit tricky to do anything about it. Using it as a substance is technically illegal.
Ah, so the illegal part is picking it in the first place.
Yes, knowingly picking the flower is a crime, according to the Endangered Species Act of 1973.
Gotcha, thanks.
Okay.
Do you know what this is?
Ah, it's just some kids playing pranks with flashlights.
Yeah. Very helpful. You're a very helpful guy.
That's all for now.
Good. Good.
Okay, I guess we will ask around a little bit for Mr. Goldfarb.
Oh, hello, dear.
It sounds awful, but for some reason I don't trust Grandma.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
She's just too kind.
I don't see a reason to ask her about that. Does the name Franklin Goldfarb mean anything to you?
Oh, that poor man. He used to be an upstanding citizen, you know. Now he's constantly drinking and keeps babbling on about that imaginary
it's
acting
Goober.
career of his.
Sad thing. Do you know where I can find him?
He's homeless, dear. Lost his job a few years ago and never really got back on his feet.
Okay, now I know who you're talking about. Thanks, Grandma. Looks like I'm gonna have to have a chat with Goober.
Yeah. Can we talk about the...
I don't want to show her that. See you later, Grams.
Take care, dear.
Okay. Now we have to find Goober after we electrocuted him last time. Oops. That might take some convincing. We last saw him at the clinic. Can you tell me where Goober is?
I need a word, Miss Mendez.
Wait, how do you know my name?
It's written on that board behind you, genius.
You have the eyesight of a bald eagle or something?
What can I say? I'm a freak of nature. What happened to Goober, anyway?
Who?
The guy who had the seizure?
Oh, he ran off somewhere. Kept babbling about a religious near-death experience.
I see.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, but since we're here, might as well check in with Charles Wade on a couple of things. If we can.
Back again, I see.
I sure am. I had some more questions, Charles.
I'm listening.
First, about the Red Man.
I don't need to ask him.
Okay. We know...
Do you know who Franklin Goldfarb is?
I'm not familiar with that name.
Just fine.
I got the police report about the burglary from the cops.
Good. Any new leads?
I have a few ideas, yeah.
Excellent. Let me know what you come across.
Okay, that's it. Well,
Thanks,
just
Charles.
wanted
That's
to
all
check.
I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
guess we will then have to go to the church. I feel like the religious near-death experience leads us to believe that. But I think that is also a good point to leave it for today and take a short break. Thank you all for joining me for today's episode of Clicks and Classics, Kathy Rain. We met the Red Man, very exciting. If you enjoyed the episode, please like the video, maybe consider subscribing to the channel, share the video with friends, family, and the people on the internet. That all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. I will be back with more Clicks and Classics Kathy Rain tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.